Hello yogis, and welcome to the Yogic Body. My name is Jessica Palmer, owner and creator of the Yogic Body online and in studio, and I'm joining you today for a requested video, a yoga for sciatica practice. Of course, I want to begin by saying this short form video is by no means a replacement for treatment or a professional opinion for any pain that you feel within your body. Sciatica is caused by the compression, injury, or irritation of the sciatic nerve, which runs from your low back through your buttock, thighs, and down the sides of your legs. It's important to remember that in our yoga practice today, and maybe even for your yoga practice in general, if you have this pain, you're going to want to avoid forward folds. We will come into a down dog. Should that feel a bit painful, you'll want to come to child's pose. We will finish class with a legs up the wall pose. You're also welcome, if you'd prefer not to come near a wall, to just come down to a Savasana or a corpse pose, laying on your back if that feels all right. If you need anything under your knees, like bending your knees while you lay on the ground, you might want to have a pillow handy as well. Yogis, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you on the mat. All right, yogis, we're going to begin in a child's pose. As I mentioned in the intro, you might not want to be folding forward to come through your postures, especially with this sciatic pain. So you might prefer instead just to come even to a chair, to just kind of like, a seated posture, and then walk your palms out long as you come to all fours. So easy does it to begin. And then find your child's pose variation. Either bringing your knees to touch here, sinking hips to heels, walking palms out long, plan A, or plan B, bringing big toes to touch, of course, at the back of your mat, knocking your knees out wide, and sinking hips to heels. So here in our child's pose, variation B, wide-legged child's pose, we're finding a behind-the-scenes hip opener. So find whichever you prefer. Sometimes I know my hips aren't very open, so I start with plan A, but take what you need. Wherever you are, whichever variation, knees to touch or knees knocked apart, simply sink hips to heels, walk your palms out long, and rest your forehead here, maybe to a hover atop the mat or even down to the mat. We're just beginning to decompress, elongate through the spine, maybe even walking your palms out a little further to the top of your mat. Also beginning here just to release any and all tension through thighs, calves. And you're welcome now even to rock your forehead here from side to side. And we'll come to child's pose just at one more interval during practice. But while we're here in this resting pose, child's pose, just consider if you can send your breath here, part of our focused practice, a deep inhale, a complete exhale. If you can send these breaths here to the low back, to the sides of your thighs and legs, and just draw your awareness now to this mind-body connection. Maybe feeling a little resistance here through low back, but not meeting resistance head on. So I think it's easy to want to push through any and all pain that we feel. Maybe even in another workout that we've often done. You think weightlifting, I think running, we think fighting. Often you have to push through, right? Push through something to come to the other side, the next level, to winning, to going an extra mile, to lifting something heavier. And our yoga practice actually teaches us something a little different, is that we don't have to resist, that we can surrender. And here, especially when you have pain throughout the body, just take note if you can do just that, just surrender. So just accepting how the body is feeling today. Maybe taking note of the way that you've been carrying yourself. Have you been a little hard on yourself? Have you been pushing? Have you been resisting? This one body that you have atop your yoga mat knows all too well when you are pushing too hard. And in turn, it knows when you're also taking care of it. Join me here as you just take one more deep round of breath, child's pose. Let it go with a noise. Tent up on your fingertips. We're going to come into down dog. So shift forward, maybe even taking hip circles if you need. Awakening here, curling your toes under, popping knees up off the mat, hips up high, push the mat away. Pedal out your feet. 3 rounds of deep breath. On your next exhale, you're welcome to come to a high plank or join me here as you drop your knees, uncurl your toes, and come on down to cobra. So just drop to all fours, then a forearm plank, and come on down to your belly. So here in cobra, you're welcome to bring your forehead here down to the mat. And in cobra, join me here as you place your palms at your low ribs. Push the mat away, chest pulls forward. 2 deep rounds of breath. One more deep inhale. Exhale, come on back down to your belly. Dropping your forehead here. Find locust pose. So now, palms face down atop your mat, shoulders down your back. So we're not thinking drawing our chin up or anything or cranking the neck like that. Instead, shoulders down your back, pulling through the tops of your fingers here. And inhale, chest, chin, belly rise up off the mat. Exhale, your legs can float. If it feels all right, on your hips, on your thighs, and on the sides of your legs, the sciatic nerve. 2 rounds of deep inhales. Exhale to release. Child's pose. Palms at your low ribs. Tuck your toes under. Push the mat away. Knees still on the mat. Find child's pose. Hips to heels. And find down dog. Raise your gaze. Walk your palms out. Roll over the toes. Hips come high. 2 inhales. And yogis, simply look to the top of your mat in between your palms and walk your feet halfway up the mat, crisscrossing at the ankles, sitting back down here for a pose that I rarely teach actually, half Lord of the Fishes, which I accidentally wrote as half Lord of the Flies, but I can be forgiven. A yoga teacher can make a literary mistake every now and again. Guiding your left leg here under right foot over to the left side of the left thigh, right? So a little funky here. So the knees are not necessarily stacked. One leg, right top leg, is definitely more bent, a more extreme bend here. And all you want to do is just sit up tall. You can even grab both palms here around right knee. Easy gaze ahead. And we're really just stamping both of our hips here down to the mat. And take your half Lord of the Fishes here on the opposite side. Bending through right knee, placing right shin here onto the mat. Left foot over to the right of the right thigh. Stamping down both hips here to the mat, not crossing at the knees, and instead hugging our palms here atop left knee. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders down the back, proud chest here as you bring your chin to neutral and just keep a focused look ahead, our drishti here, our focal point. Unclench your jaw, unfurrow your brow. Just relax your shoulders here. One more deep breath. And join me now as you slowly unwind. We're going to come back to reclined. Bending your knees, shoulders to the mat, and rocking your knees here side to side. Just ever so gently, finding almost a low back massage here. You're welcome to find circles with the knees, clockwise and counterclockwise. And then join me now in reclined figure 4. Left foot to the mat, bending through left knee, and right ankle stacked over left thigh. Find your variation here of arms, choosing from the menu. The list goes on and on. Plan A with the legs here, left sole of the foot to the mat. And plan B is to guide your palms instead around your left thigh, taking sole of the left foot here off the mat. And plan C, if it feels okay, taking a gentle bend to your left leg as you extend left leg long. I'm going to stay here in plan A with one palm to the heart, one to the belly, but find what you need here over these 5 rounds of deep breath. Taking that quick body scan here as we welcome just 4 more inhales. So can you gently release eyebrows here away from one another? So unfurrow your brow. Relax top and bottom sets of teeth away from one another. Gently let your lips part, unclenching your jaw. Feeling almost your shoulders here like hot wax melt to the mat with every breath out. Taking the biggest inhale you've taken all day. And exhale slowly now to unwind to bridge pose. Soles of the feet here onto the mat. Join me now as we, of course, bending through both knees. Just take one big inhale, palms at your sides, and exhale, push through the feet here as your hips come up and high, almost like you have imaginary strings lifting your hips up to the ceiling. Careful here not to overextend through the hips. And just keeping this mind-body connection here to the tops of the thighs, the glutes. Maybe even clenching thighs together here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing your bridge pose now, finding your figure 4 on the opposite side. Sole of the right foot down to the mat, bending left knee or left ankle over right thigh. Find your perfect variation of arms, of legs, and join me here 5 deep rounds of breath. Come back into your body scan here as we just begin to draw our awareness now back to our shoulders, just as we were. Feeling our shoulders now grow heavier down to the mat. Letting gravity take more of you with every exhale. Feeling even now the space of your low back gently soften. Feeling chest and belly rise with every breath. Bringing this restfulness now through the crown of your head to the tops of your toes over these next 2 rounds of breath. On your next exhale, slowly unwinding back to bridge pose with both knees bent, soles of the feet on the mat. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, hips come off the mat here. Push through your feet. Find 5 rounds of breath. Two more deep inhales. Exhale, dropping your hips with control back to the mat. And you're welcome to, again, guide your palms here atop your knees. Rock side to side. Circles. And yogis, when you feel good and ready, we'll come into our final pose, legs up the wall. As I mentioned, if you'd prefer not to come into legs up the wall, you're also welcome to bring a pillow here under your knees, bent knees, and just lay on back for a Savasana, a corpse-like pose, right? Or if you're going to join me here, come into legs up the wall, facing your wall, bringing your hips here as close to the trim as you'd like. And you can either bend your knees here depending on whether or not you have a full-sized wall or a bench, a chair, a sofa. You can straighten your legs as well. As we welcome several more rounds of breath here, you're welcome to draw your awareness now to your legs fully. So just a body scan to begin, releasing tension through the tops of your toes, the soles of your feet, feeling your calves loosen, unwind, soften. Feeling your kneecaps gently loosen. And drawing this awareness, this relaxation now through your thighs. Almost imagining like a loved one or a masseuse here, just kneading through the thighs. Again, with every breath out, letting gravity take a little more tension here. Replacing it on the inhalation with relaxation. Envisioning the space of your hips soften, loosen, unhinge. Your low back gently releases with every breath out. Supported here by the mat beneath you, by every wall to your side, or even that wall here against your legs, supported. And yogis, you're welcome to stay here as long as you need to completely decompress, to completely relax. Or if you'd like to join me in sealing this practice, you might even begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Taking a full body stretch, palms up high overhead. You're welcome to even gently bend your knees and roll over to your favorite side. If you'd like, even coming to a seated pose. And here with my legs on my bench here, just going to bring my palms to forehead center. Thank you, yogis, for practicing with me today. And I so wish for you relief from any and all pain that you feel. Namaste.